The picnic's secret. Dappled sunlight filtered through the leaves, shifting shadows on the small clearing where 4 figures lounged on the grass. It was a scene of apparent tranquillity, a picnic in the woods, far from the bustle of Paris. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Émilie reclined nude against Pierre, her pale skin contrasting with his dark suit. She felt his body stiffen as Claude gestured emphatically, his beard quivering with each word. In the background, Victorine bent to collect wildflowers, her white dress billowing in the breeze. "You don't understand, Pierre," Claude insisted. "This painting will revolutionize art. It's not just about shock value, though I admit that plays a part. It's about challenging conventions, pushing boundaries." Pierre sighed, absent-mindedly stroking Émilie's arm. "I understand your artistic vision, my friend. But have you considered the consequences? The salon will never accept such a provocative piece." Émilie suppressed a smile. If only they knew the actual provocation lay not in her nudity, but in the secrets she held close. "Damn the salon!" Claude exclaimed, slamming his fist on the ground. "I'm tired of pandering to their outdated sensibilities. Art should reflect life in all its raw beauty." Victorine approached, her arms full of wildflowers. She began weaving them into a crown, pointedly avoiding Émilie's gaze. "And what of your subjects?" Pierre pressed. "Have you considered how this might affect their reputations? Émilie, surely you have concerns." All eyes turned to her. Émilie stretched languidly, reveling in the attention. "I trust Claude's vision," she purred. "Besides, who's to say this lovely lady is me? Art is open to interpretation, non." Claude beamed at her words, but Victorine's fingers faltered, crushing a delicate blossom. As the men resumed their debate, Émilie's mind wandered to the events that had led them here. It had begun innocently enough, a chance encounter with Claude at a salon, his eyes alight with artistic fervor. He'd spoken passionately about his desire to challenge the art world's staid conventions, to create something truly revolutionary. Émilie, bored with her comfortable yet predictable life as Pierre's mistress, was instantly intrigued. When Claude proposed his audacious idea, a painting of a nude woman picnicking with clothed men, she volunteered without hesitation. Pierre, ever the supportive friend, had reluctantly agreed to participate. And Victorine, Claude's favorite model, had been a natural choice for the second female figure. None knew that Émilie harbored ambitions beyond merely posing for a scandalous painting. She had recognized in Claude a kindred spirit, someone willing to risk everything for his art. A plan had formed in her mind, in the weeks of preparation and preliminary sketches. As she basked in the warm sunlight, Émilie allowed herself a secret smile. Soon, very soon, everything would change. "I still say it's a risk," Pierre said, his worried voice tinged. "Claude, my friend, I fear this painting could ruin you." Claude waved away his concerns. "Some risks are worth taking, Pierre. This piece will be my masterpiece, I can feel it in my bones." Victorine settled beside them, placing the finished flower crown atop Émilie's dark hair. Their eyes met briefly, a flicker of understanding passing between them. Émilie cleared her throat. "Perhaps a toast is in order," she suggested, reaching for the bottle of wine nestled in the picnic basket. "To push the boundaries of art and life." The others murmured their agreement. Émilie poured the wine with a steady hand, passing around the glasses. As Claude launched into another impassioned speech about his artistic vision, she caught Victorine's eye and gave an almost imperceptible nod. Victorine rose gracefully, mumbling an excuse about gathering more flowers. As she disappeared into the woods, Émilie felt a thrill of anticipation course through her veins. The plan had been set in motion weeks ago, during a private moment between the two women. Emily had confessed her growing restlessness, her desire for more than the life of a kept woman. Victorine, in turn, had revealed her frustrations, always the model, never the artist. Together, they had hatched a daring scheme. Victorine would slip away to the nearby road, while the men were distracted by their artistic debates. There, a carriage waited, loaded with their carefully packed belongings, and a small fortune Emily had slowly siphoned from Pierre's accounts. By the time Claude and Pierre realized the women were gone, Emily and Victorine would be well on their way to a new life, far from Paris, far from the constraints of society and the whims of men who saw them as little more than muses or ornaments. Emily took a sip of wine, savoring its rich flavor. Soon, she would trade this false idyll for true freedom. She allowed herself one last glance at Pierre, feeling a twinge of something like regret. He had been kind to her in his way. But kindness was not enough to cage her wild heart. The minutes ticked by, the men's voices rising and falling as they debated the merits of various artistic techniques. Emily's pulse quickened. Any moment now. A distant sound caught her attention, the clop of hooves, the creak of carriage wheels. Claude and Pierre, deep in conversation, didn't seem to notice. Emily rose in one fluid motion, letting the flower crown tumble. "Messieurs," she said, her voice steady despite the excitement thrumming through her body. "I'm afraid this is where we part ways." Before they could react, she turned and fled into the woods, her bare feet sure on the familiar path. Behind her, she heard confused shouts and the scrambling of bodies. But it was too late. By the time they reached the road, there would be nothing but a dust cloud and hoofbeats' fading sound. As Emily burst from the tree line, she saw Victorine standing beside the waiting carriage, hand outstretched. Without hesitation, Emily grasped it, allowing herself to be pulled up onto the seat. They were off with a flick of the reins, the countryside blurring around them as they raced toward an uncertain but thrilling future. Emily laughed, the sound wild and free. Let Claude paint his masterpiece from memory. She and Victorine were about to create their masterpiece, a life lived entirely on their terms. The picnic in the woods faded into the distance, nothing more than a memory captured in brushstrokes and the fading echoes of a revolution yet to come.